everybody, it is another deck that I'm going to bring you here. We jump back on stream today for the first time in about a week. And what started off as me trying to do like a yellow and blue reconstruct enchantment style deck ended up quickly turning to, hey, let's try Hoarding Hero and see what we can do with Hoarding Hero and blue and purple again. And we had a little bit more success with that and had some fun with it. So here's the deck list for you guys, and let me know what you think about it. All right, so the deck list here is purple and blue again, and it surrounds just, it's supposed to be a deck wherein you want to just load up a Hoarding Hero with a ton of jam and then just go face with it and win. But it wins in other ways too. It's won its fair share of games from other ways as well. We'll go through the deck list and I'll kind of just very concisely tell you about how it plays. All right, so I got 1 Karen Henge, 2 Brainstorms, I have a Frecky Sidecar, I have 1 God's Blood Transfusion, double Sea Haven, Braggy, Rune Singer, 1 Rune of Denial, double Thunderclap, and Magnus. And then I have 3 times Racer in Shadow, I have 3 Steam Buns, 3 Sword Saints, 2 Hoarding Heroes, which is kind of the focal point of the deck, Rogue Eidolon, one of the best purples in the game, 3 Shinobi of Wind, I have Master in Shadows, or Master of Shadows rather, twice Spirit Away, 3 Tarragons, and Jinsuk, and Lantern Colossus, and of course, if you're doing purple and blue, one of the best 2 drops is Llort. Okay, so what does the deck do? The deck pretty much is looking to jam a ton of your items on the Hoarding Hero, and here's Hoarding Hero, as we can see, which gets +2/+2 whenever an item is used on it, and we're going to be generating lots of items. Steam Bun gets an item, Sword Saint gets an item, what else we have? Tarragon gets an item, and the Lantern Colossus gets an item. So right now we're looking at 12 particular creatures that can generate items, when in reality you only want to jam 3 or 4 on your Hoarding Hero. Not to mention, you're going to get them back. We should probably have mentioned this earlier, but my power is Impel, and my path is Journey of Souls. You want to get a lot of these early game creatures back, like Racer and Shadow, Steam Bun, Sword Saint, etc. They're going to be nice for you down the road. So the whole plan here is to just play your early game creatures, use Racer and Shadow to remove threats, and eventually get to a point where you're in a spot where playing your Hoarding Hero, perhaps next to a Frecky Sidecar with about 3 or 4 items on it, should be enough to go ahead and punch through for a lot of damage. You're going to be whittling away at your opponent using your Thunderclaps and Magnus to get some decent board clears, playing your Rogue Eidolon early to give your opponent some nastiness to deal with, as well as your Llort. Now, Llort in this game is not the focal point. I was just discussing this on stream earlier today about how Llort is such a game changer for blue purple because of the fact that it's a 1/3, so it's a fairly good response to early game to 1 drops if you're on the play, and it has Lurker, which is nice to protect it. But if this hits the board and sticks, it's going to be chased around by your opponent and dealt with. So what this card does is it forces a reaction from your opponent and locks up their mana and takes away from their proactivity. If you play this card, your opponent wants to react to it and answer it. If they can't, it can get a lot of value through connecting for damage. And if they do start reacting to it, suddenly you're taking away from their proactive game plan and you're making your opponent spend mana to answer a 2-drop card. So they might spend 1 or 2 turns trying to lock this down and eliminate it. And if they do, that's fine. But if they don't, you connect with it, you connect with it, you connect with it, and then suddenly you're getting exceptional value. Maybe you hit a home run off the banish. You get to banish something like one of their big mythics like a Sapo or Armageddon Angel or who knows what, but you're getting cards out of their deck that you otherwise wouldn't be able to deal with. So that's an answer right there. Eventually cards like Lantern Colossus, cards like Tarragon will be able to sort of overrun your opponent. Sword Saint putting a Biting Blade, of course, giving you life tap is imperative to late game recovery. Now, control aspect, spot removal, you're only going to be looking at something like where is it? Spirit Away. Spirit Away is just a clean removal of problems that are going to stop you from connecting for damage. And finally, Master of Shadows, because at a 4-drop 1/1, it's just nasty. This thing with Impel can move around and deal some nasty damage and clear some big threats. You know, don't be afraid to drop a Hoarding Hero early if it means to making your opponent have to answer. You know, if you have Rogue Eidolon and a Llort and a Hoarding Hero on the board, it creates a really awkward scenario for opponent where they'll have to answer one of them, but they can't answer all of them. Sea Haven is an MVP when it comes to your Llort, your Eidolon, to anything really, in order to give it mobility and some survivability with the armor. I have one God's Blood Transfusion, and I've never regretted it because it's always come down in a great spot. Here's the deck. This is how it plays. Again, your Hoarding Hero is going to come down and clutch for damage, and if it's not answered early, drop some items on it, create some pressure, and go from there. This is by far a masterpiece. It's just a work in progress, but I had some fun playing with it today, and I figured maybe I'd let you go ahead and have a shake at it. So this is it. Yeah, there you go. Enjoy. And as always, please hit the subscribe button, drop your comments in the comment field here, and catch me streaming when I stream. Check out my Twitter, and I'll let you know when I'm streaming. All right, adios, friends. See you later. Goodbye.